It's actually the opposite. Hey guys, David Folk here, and today we're going to have another episode of Geek Speak.
Geek Speak.
And what we're going to be talking about today is going to be shafts. Not just specific brands of shafts, but how shafts work. We're talking about kick point, we're talking about tipping, we're talking about a hard step, soft step, all those things that you probably wanted to know, but it was too complicated when you read all those articles. So, let's go putts around.
Hit the ball!
Boom. All right, guys, let's get into Geek Speak.
Geek Speak.
We're talking about how shafts are made, how they impact swing, and how to know the various characteristics of them. So today we're going to be talking about 4 aspects. The first one, kick point. The second thing we're going to be talking about, tipping. The third one is going to be soft stepping, and then the fourth one's going to be hard stepping. So let's start with kick point. High kick points, a lot of people assimilate with a high trajectory, high and high. It's actually the opposite. A high kick point is going to be a low launching shaft. A mid kick point is going to be in the middle, and then a low kick point is going to be a high launching. Where it flexes, the longer the tip end, the less flex it's going to have as the club face comes through. Whereas a lower kick point has more movement down here to allow the head to swing forward a little bit more because the head weighs more than the shaft. We have our driver, and the kick point is usually from here to here. So the higher the kick point, the lower the launch. Medium is a medium launch, and a low is going to help you get up in the air because the club head produces more kick point down here. So high kick point, less flex, low kick point, more flex. I would love to tell you when it comes to kick point, there's an industry standard, but there isn't. It's like, how do you know what the kick point is from one maker to the next? Mitsubishi makes a different kick point than Aldila, which makes a different kick point than the Project X. It's one of those that high kick point, mid kick point, low kick point aren't the same when it comes to driver, fairway, and really any shaft. There's no industry standard. Now, another aspect of kick point and shaft making is going to be torque. Torque is the amount of resistance that comes with the head twisting and turning in the shaft. This is particularly going to happen when it comes to drivers, and maybe a little bit in like those strong lofted 3-woods or the mini drivers, those types of clubs that have a little bit more weight to the bottom of the club. All right, so as your club comes through, the amount of twist that your club is going to have as it comes through is going to be torque. That's going to determine how much torque you have. The less torque you have in your club, the stiffer it feels. So torque plus stiffness plus kick point, that's what's going to make you feel like the shaft is whippy or the shaft is stiff as a board or someplace in the middle. When people talk about, man, this feels really stiff, they're talking about the torque. They're talking about how it feels as it comes through. You're not going to feel the whip with a shaft that has less torque. So less torque equals less twist. More torque equals more twist as it comes through. That's going to also be a non-industry standard based on the manufacturer. The second thing we want to talk about is tipping. And this also comes along with, generally speaking, driver shafts. Tipping is what happens when you have a standard driver shaft, which every driver shaft comes around 46 to 46 and a half. When it comes to tipping, what you do is instead of cutting off the butt here to make the length that you want, you actually cut off a portion of the tip. And that's going to create a little bit more of a stiffer feeling with the driver versus just cutting off the butt end of the shaft. The idea is if you like the way the shaft feels, but you want it a little stiffer, tipping it is going to allow it to be a little bit stiffer shaft so that you keep with the same kick point, you keep with the same everything, it's a little stiffer shaft. A lot of pros do this. It's obviously very difficult for us as consumers to go in and say, you know what, I want to try this shaft and I want to tip it to a half an inch. And then they have to glue the hosel on, put the club on, you try it out. Oh, I still want it a little bit more tipped. And then you have to cut it a little more. But the careful thing is you don't want to cut the butt end of it, because if you cut the butt end, then you're shortening your entire shaft, and that's going to mess up the makeup of all this. It really is an experimentation thing, and it's really difficult to hone in tipping because you have to experiment with many different shafts to find the type of tip and the type of flex in the right shaft that you want. It's lots of variables, and quite honestly, shafts like this Diamana here aren't cheap. So when it comes to tipping and kick points and torque, that's all going to be part of the driver, and there's no industry standard. And really, the best way for you guys to find out which one you like is to go try a couple of shafts in each one. A lot of manufacturers offer a variety of shafts for you to put into it. In my 917 D2, I have an Adilla Rogue silver shaft. I've tried the black shaft, I've tried the hazardous shaft, and the silver shaft is something that I like. I like the way it feels. It's not too stiff, quote unquote, but it gives me the dispersion and the trajectory that I'm looking for. I would dare say it's a mid-low kick point, so it's gonna launch nicely, but it still has a stiffness to it where I'm not feeling like the head is getting out of control and torquing too much. Really, guys, it's trial and error, going in there, trying it out in the launch monitors, seeing what it's like, and then taking it out into the course to see how it performs out in the real world. Next, what we're going to be talking about is going to be soft stepping and hard stepping, and this is generally done with your irons. As you look here at the 5-iron, you will see that both the 4-iron shaft and the 6-iron shaft are going to be longer. Soft stepping is going to be taking a 4-iron shaft, cutting it down, and putting it into a 5-iron. That's going to make it about a half a flex weaker. Hard stepping is going to be taking the 6-iron shaft, cutting it to be a 5-iron length, and that's going to stiffen up the club to about a half a flex more. The idea being you want to move up a half a step as opposed to jumping from a regular to a stiff. You want more of a firm flex. Now the question is, why would you want to soft step or hard step a specific shaft? And the answer is really you wouldn't if you were going from like an R300 to an R400 to an S200 to an S300 when it comes to dynamic gold, or going from 5 to 5.5 to 6 to 6.5 when it comes to Project X. They basically have laid that out. Some people love doing this with all of their clubs. I can't tell a difference between a soft step S300 and an S400 when it comes to stiffness like that. But I want to let you guys know how soft stepping, hard stepping works. So if that's something that you guys see, maybe you can find a range in between there that maybe you guys can tell the difference between, you know, a 5.5 and a 6.0, and maybe you feel like that's the 5.75 stiffness that you guys want. That might be beneficial for you. I would encourage you guys, if you've done this, if you know about soft stepping and hard stepping, put those comments down below. Explain to the community here the benefits of it, because I have a hard time seeing them myself in performance when I'm out in the course, and even in the launch monitor, I just don't see any real differences to really be able to say that's a big jump for me. Conclusion on Geek Speak.
Geek Speak.
I hope, guys, this has been informational to you about kick points, tipping, torque, soft stepping, hard stepping. There's a lot of information out there about shafts, and I hope that what we've been talking about today gives you at least a fundamental baseline to be able to build off of. And unfortunately, like I mentioned, there is no industry standard when it comes to really any of that. So there's a couple of companies that actually have a comparison chart that you can pay for to really be able to see how all of the shafts that come out every year stack up with kick point, torque, stiffness, all of that good stuff. Really, guys, what I've seen is manufacturers strive to find the right shaft for their clubs, the right kick points, and how that's going to balance the club out to make sure they get the optimum launch. So they spend a lot of time trying to figure out which shafts are going to be right for their clubs. And so I would at least start with the stock shaft to see how you like it. Maybe you move from that shaft to a different option that they offer. Shafts we can drown in. It's one of those endless abysses that you guys can dive into and keep tinkering and tweaking. At the golf shop, I've had guys come in, they found the driver that they like, and then they buy like 6 different shafts to go along with it. And it's like you're focusing on the wrong part of your game when it comes to that. Shafts have an impact, a big impact on the performance of the club, but really the Indian controls the arrow and not the other way around. So guys, put those comments down below if you have any questions, or if you have any ideas, or if you want to share if you've done any sort of tipping, or how you like your kick point, or what shaft is your favorite. Put that down below. I look forward to hearing from you. I've enjoyed all the comments. I try to get to everybody's comment and either give them a thumbs up or comment or answer any questions. So keep it up, guys. I greatly appreciate it, and I think everybody's really having fun looking at all the comments down below. If you guys are liking the videos, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up because YouTube likes that. Thanks for watching, and we'll chat with you next time.